Identity. Now, it's a word that means something to each and every one of us, and this year it is the theme of Black History Month here in the South.
Yes, a host of events exploring the issue will be taking place across Southampton during October, and today the commemorations were officially launched at St Mary's Fire Station, attended by the great and the good and by communities from across the city.
Well, the keynote speaker at this afternoon's launch was Guardian journalist and deputy editor of the opinion section, Joseph Harker.
Joseph, I'm delighted to say, joins us now in the studio. Thank you so much for coming in to see us today. Southampton, one of the few places where they mark Black History Month on a real scale. Why is it important?
It's very important that we understand Black history because there are so little outlets for us to actually express who we are. When you think about the things that are said about Black people and how Black people might identify themselves if they just saw what was on the news, you'd have stories about knife crime or violence, or it might be about Africa and war and poverty and famine. And so Black history is a time when the month is a time when we can think about what our history really means, who we are, what our background is. So it gives us something more positive to actually look about and to think about ourselves, how we are here, why we are here, how our history is so intertwined with British history, and how we have every right to be in this country and we should be proud of our history.
Do you think it can help community cohesion, whether we're Black, white or Asian?
I think it's very good for everyone to know about everyone else's history. We're taught at schools about the kings and queens of England and Churchill and the great war leaders and people like that. But in terms of teaching people about history for people of colour, there's very little spoken about. If you were talking about Black people, you'd be thinking about the slave trade. Or you might think that Black presence was only in this country from the Empire Windrush in 1948. Well, our history goes back an awful lot further than that. And plus, I think there's often people talk about integration and assimilation, and they don't like people looking different. They say you've got to fit in. Now you're in this country, you're supposed to fit in and fit in with British values, whatever they are. But I think this is a time, the more people understand that British values are not unique, there's fairness and equality and tolerance are values that are shared across the world, that lots of different communities have added a lot to our history, and that we've all got something to celebrate. And we can celebrate the fact that we're all here, the fact that we all come together and we're here at this time in this moment.
We are living through extraordinary times at the moment, socially and politically. What was your message at the launch?
My message was really that we need to embrace our identity. I have different identities. Part of me is Nigerian, part of me is Irish. I love both sides of them. I'm very proud of both sides of them. And I would not want to deny them to try and fit into pretend to be British or pretend that Duke of Wellington was one of my ancestors or something like that. So to me, it's about embracing our identity, because once we do that, we can really be confident in who we are and really fulfil our potential, make the most of who we are.
Good luck with the month. Thanks for coming to see us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph.